Welcome to the Winged Wheel Podcast. Here to talk all things hockey are your hosts, Brad Crisco, Ryan Hanna, and Evan Lobsinger.
If you're ever considering getting a big dog, you know, just like a dog's dog, a traditional dog, you have to consider the fact that they will be skunked. They absolutely, definitely will be skunked at some point in their lives. And if you have a big old dummy mixed with other three kinds of dummies like I have, they'll be skunked 4 times. Since Mel and I have started dating for the past couple of years, Abby's been skunked twice. And I think like when Mel and I were like friends, Abby was skunked once before. And that's actually the only one where I was there to help. The 2 other times I was out of town. So last night, Mel worked a 14-hour day because it's that season in the business that we work in, you know, back to school for university students. There's a lot of prep that goes into that. She worked a 14-hour day on a Saturday, gets home, dog goes outside, tries to make friends with the same damn skunk that's lived there for however many years. It just got sprayed in the face. So now everything I have smells like skunk.
Don't be friendly.
Don't be friendly. Don't be a dog.
We have one that crawls around our backyard sometime. His name's Stu.
Stu the skunk?
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
He's not cool, man. No, they're not cool. I don't care how cute they are. They're not cool. It smells so bad. And like, if you don't, you have a story, Brad, where the dog came inside and destroyed a couch.
Yeah, so we had this was Demon, not Ollie, surprisingly. Ollie would have been better or worse because of the short fur. I don't know.
Yeah.
Either way. So our apartment door was very close to the exit to get out of the building. This is like 10 years ago. And so Crystal was just home the one day, left the apartment door open, went downstairs, let Demon out. Demon ran around, made friends with a skunk under a car, got sprayed, got scared, thankfully, so he didn't get sprayed again, sprinted straight back through the front door, through the apartment, and jumped right up on our love seat.
Oh, no.
That one went.
Oh, God.
That went in the trash.
You cannot. That's it. There's nothing for that.
We tried everything for like a month to get the smell out of it. No, nothing.
The only solution I've ever seen to permanently remove like bad smells like that are hotels have ozone machines. They clear everyone and everything out of everything living out of the room. They turn on an ozone machine for like, I don't know, 30 minutes, turn it off, and then you have to stay out of the room until the ozone dissipates. It has a pretty short half-life, but it's incredibly toxic if you breathe it in. Shout out to the 1950s and fridges and stuff like that. I don't know when we were breathing in.
I have no idea what an ozone machine is.
Yeah, it puts ozone into the air, and it clears out all the smells.
Interesting.
Yeah, so.
Without leaving a smell of itself.
Yes.
Doing the Lord's work.
Doing the Lord's work. Poisoning our youth. Welcome to the Winged Wheel Podcast. I'm Ryan Hanna. I just had to get that off my chest.
I'm Brad Crisco. I sympathize.
And I'm Stu, the skunk.
You guys can't smell me, right?
No.
Oh,
hey, are we
good.
wearing the same shirt?
No, mine's got skunk colors,
God.
and mine has a toothpaste stain.
Jeez.
I just noticed right now.
Tough day.
Yeah, it's not. I came back from Toronto. I had the option of like staying later, and I was just like, ugh, God, no, I want to get away from this. I like Toronto as a city.
Did you go to the CNE?
Yeah, I went to go see a show that was in the CNE. I didn't go to for the CNE. Like it was in Queen Elizabeth Theater, which was
I see.
I went to the CNE for the first time last year. It's cool. They're a big fair.
Do you like people?
No.
Then you won't like the CNE.
So when we left the show, we all had to go through this like underground tunnel to get under the GO train
I know
tracks.
exactly which one you're talking about.
Oh my! That's my hell. I never want to do that
brutal.
again. It is 1,000 people crammed in a space about the size of this basement. Yeah. It is. I was like, we're just ripe for the picking here. First of all, like I have a lot of anxiety about that.
Oh yeah, they've been talking about building a bridge over the GO train tracks for 7 years.
It is the absolute worst situation I've ever been in. I breathe the same air 45 times in a row.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
it's disgusting.
Isn't that what our pregame meetup for the home opener is going to feel like?
Yeah, essentially.
That's what I want it to feel like.
Yeah, but
I want it not only because I want to meet as many of our listeners as possible, I just want to see how high Ryan's social anxiety can get in that setting.
Now, I'm actually a very social person, but just like crowds where I can't decide which direction to move in, that's when like I get
when you're just like part of the stream, you're just flowing down.
Yeah. Speaking of the meetup, for those of you who have paid attention on Twitter, we ran a couple updates on the website. So we now have 2 new pages. We have our shop page hosting all of our merch. So I know you guys were asking for some new merch. So we have new shirts, new sweaters, crew necks, tanks, unisex cuts and men's and women's fits, depending on what you prefer. Gray, black, red shirts.
There's literally everything you could ever want.
Reading between the lines of what Ryan's saying there is, we put a lot of work into the store. Please buy something.
We, for those of you who want stickers, we are selling the stickers on there as well. There's polos. There are women's bathing suits, baby onesies, socks, flip-flops, which I'm actually definitely going to get. Phone cases. Someone said they would actually. I joked about like mocking up some pillows, and someone was like, "Yo, I'll legit buy throw pillows." So there's 2 color throw pillows on there and posters as well, all different sizes, colors, everything. Go check it out. And also, there's a blog page. So if you paid attention to that, there's a few posts up right now. First is a post just like backdated about our 500,000 listen mark. The next one is details about the home opener meetup. So I know the image that we've been putting out says go to wingedwheelpodcast.com for more info. The more info is now actually there. Has all the details you'll need. And then the most recent post is more YouTube content. I know we've talked about this for a little while, but we're really going to ramp up our YouTube content this year. Not just posting episodes, but a lot of other ideas that we're really excited to share with you. And it's not just creating the videos, we're also investing in making improving the quality of it. So we're working on a new studio solution. As much as we like being in Crystal and Mika's space and having them have to deal with us, we are trying to figure something out that's a little bit better for lighting and for sound, and also getting some sweet new camera equipment. Boy, cameras.
Wow, what a cheap invention they were.
Yeah, if anyone knows anyone who works for Panasonic, tell them to give us a shout. We have some collaboration ideas for them. So
what Ryan is saying is the camera we need, we can't afford, and we need a sponsorship on it.
Yeah, we'll pay for it, but we'll go, I guess. Are you ready to check out? Yeah.
Define ready.
Yeah, so wingedwheelpodcast.com, and then there's a shop page and the blog page. Check those out, and then stay tuned on the blog page. We're also going to be putting out some of our video posts. Brad's going to be rolling out a short form article on there pretty soon. And we're just going to be using it to...
Short form article.
I thought it was a short one.
My first one going up is going to be the prospect list.
And you're going to have the whole, yeah.
Oh, I'm putting it all out in one shebang. That's going to be a monster. I'm going to try and keep it to 1 paragraph per prospect, but I tend to get long-winded when I ramble, so...
There's a shocker.
Brad,
that's a surprise.
Crisco. Once the shop gets up and running and we see the sales coming in, we know it's like worth like keeping up and running. We're definitely gonna make the Shut Up Brad shirts. That is the first custom shirt that's coming out.
Oh yeah.
Like definitely.
Hey, would you believe me that 2 weeks ago I had a best man speech to give and managed to keep it under 3 minutes?
No. Yeah.
The opening line of my joke was literally everything about myself that people were expecting, and just said I'm not gonna do that.
At your wedding, your dad talked. It was the best and longest speech at a wedding I've ever been to.
Yep. Oh, yeah. With no point for about 75% of it, but that was the point.
It was too long, but also not long enough. Yeah. Anyways, that's our site. Those are some updates. You're obviously going to see the updates. Hey, if you guys want to support and especially help us out, at least in the beginning as we roll this out, we have about 550 subscribers on YouTube right now. If you're into it, subscribe preemptively. You can still catch the full episode videos, and then you'll be tuned in for when everything starts to roll out.
Yeah, YouTube's going to be
big push.
Our pet project for this season.
Yeah. It's going to be fun.
That and not being broke, but that's always a pet project of ours.
Yeah, it really is. That and exfoliating, because you're going to be able to see into our pores.
Yes. And you can see into our Patreon if you support our campaign to not be broke.
Yeah, wingedwheelpodcast.com also has a support us page, which shows all the way you can support. First being Patreon. Thank you. Hey, patrons, we love you, and thank you.
Honestly, they're the whole reason we're able to do all this stuff, because we absolutely could not have afforded any of the stuff we want to do this winter, and it's all coming thanks to them.
Yeah. Like, for those who have been listening for the 4.5 years we've been doing this show now, you'll notice the part where the point in time where we're able to like blow up. Patreons. Like, patrons are the reason we can do this. You guys mean everything to us. So thank you for your support. We're going to get away from the emotional real stuff by talking about some, you know what, absolute bull, which is these stupid rumors that are going around.
Okay, do I have to repeat my damn rant from, I think it was less than a month ago?
Apparently you do, Brad.
Okay, if it's not TSN, Sportsnet, Athletic, ESPN, or one of like 2 or 3 other outlets, it's not real. Eklund is the one who started the Ristolainen for Mantha trade rumors and this supposed 5-player deal. It's not real. We'll debate the merits of whether Detroit should actually do some kind of trade around that parameters just for the fun of it, but it's not real. When was the last time Eklund was right about anything? And remember, he posts every trade imaginable all the time, so
Yeah.
you think he would, even a broken clock's right twice a day. He hasn't even hit that success rate yet.
Do you guys remember those like NHL In-Seider accounts that were coming out, and they would post every trade imaginable and then go back and delete tweets and stuff to make it look like they were right?
Yeah.
They are more reputable than Eklund.
Yeah.
Eklund has been around for years and years and years and just posts absolutely nothing from the basis of even less than absolutely nothing. It is not legitimate. It's not worth your time. And if you're saying you're being really harsh to this guy, that's how little this person adds to the hockey community. It's just bull. A broken clock is right twice a day, and he's right even less than that. Legitimately, it's not worth your time. If this comes up, it will be a stroke of luck. It will be the universe saying, we're going to make the Wing Wheel podcast look bad. But it is absolutely not based in reality. Plain and simple.
Could a trade like that happen? Yeah, Steve Yzerman's made bold moves before. This is probably where it came from. Oh, hey, Detroit has a GM who's willing to pull the trigger on something. What makes some sense? Oh, Ristolainen's still held in high views in some circles, and Anthony Mantha's primed for a breakout. These seems like targets. Maybe they're targets for each other. Like, it's not an asinine rumor. It's just it's not based in any actual source material or fact.
Well, you know where he's getting it from is like a couple months back, Elliot Friedman reported
that was exactly what it was.
Yeah, he said like this isn't a real thing. He just said someone close to the Buffalo Sabres organization, because it's very well known that Ristolainen is on the move, said that they think Buffalo would want a player like Mantha. Didn't even say they were connected to Mantha. That's just what Buffalo was looking for.
It was a throwaway line in a podcast. Just here's the type of player that they would want in return for Ristolainen. Which, if it's Mantha for Ristolainen straight up, that's a trade Detroit should make 0 out of 100 times.
Oh, absolutely.
Because Anthony Mantha is a far superior player to Rasmus Ristolainen.
Yeah.
That being said, if it's a air quotation 5-player, we should never give this stuff our time, but we're about to give it time. 5-player trade, if it's Anthony Mantha, Justin Abdelkader, and insert filler piece here for Rasmus Ristolainen and useful piece like a half-decent prospect or a serviceable defenseman, sure, then you entertain that.
So you start talking about it.
Yeah, but no. Other than that, this isn't a reality that should happen.
No. So I know it's easy, like it's a quiet time right now. It's the lull before the storm, or just before prospect camp, or the prospect tournament, or just before training camp. Just bear with it, guys. There's nothing there. But for the sake of it, we'll talk about it. Plain and simple, Anthony Mantha is worth way more than Rasmus Ristolainen, and there would have to be a ton of value coming back, like you just mentioned.
And also, Anthony Mantha is worth more than Rasmus Ristolainen now, and yet the entire hockey world seems to be predicting Anthony Mantha to have his breakout season this upcoming season. So now you're selling low on a player who could potentially turn into a near point per game guy.
Yeah. So, and Ristolainen's a very polarizing player, so I'll hear an argument for both sides. That's a guy who had to eat way too many minutes early on in his career when he really wasn't the caliber player to be doing that. Advanced stats show a less than glamorous view of his production on the ice, but he's very well regarded with some, hashtag hockey men across the league. So there's kind of a split on Ristolainen.
Rasmus Ristolainen is the poster child for the is he bad because of the team, or is the team bad because of him argument.
Mm-hmm. And
I don't have an answer for that.
You know where I have Rasmus Ristolainen in my head right now is where Leafs fans are trying to have Cody Ceci, where they're just trying to speak Cody Ceci being good into existence, which is, good luck. Used properly, with the right minutes, and with the right situation, I think he can be effective.
That would be on a second pairing with Patrick Nemeth, and a second pairing defenseman is not worth Anthony Mantha.
No. And on a good team, he wouldn't be a second pairing defenseman.
I could hear an argument for that because he's never had proper help in Buffalo. All the raw tools are there for Ristolainen, and it's just a matter of putting it together.
Yeah.
Now, that's the whole risk because you don't know if it will ever be put together. Because there have been reclamation projects of, well, look, it's a different position, but Dylan Strome going to Chicago turned his whole career around. That, in theory, could happen with Rasmus Ristolainen, but those reclamation projects you don't pay a premium for.
All right, Evan, pop quiz. Create a trade. You're Steve Eisman. Create a trade involving Mantha and Ristolainen that makes sense for Detroit.
Anthony Mantha plus any contract we want to dump.
So Abdelkader or Nielsen.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then on the way back, obviously Ristolainen. And we want a forward coming the other way. God.
I don't think Buffalo would give up on Middlestat yet. So
Yeah.
No.
Too early.
Would you take a second?
No, that's not enough. I take their first.
Yeah, I don't know if they would trade that this
They
year.
shouldn't.
I'm just trying to think of what they have for forwards.
Yeah,
Well,
I know. I was trying to think of all the guys we saw at the game last year.
Just throw Dylan Cousins in. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. That's
Buffalo,
perfect.
Buffalo has a sneaky good prospect system. There's probably someone there we could pluck. Like, I know they probably won't move
Thompson?
Cousins. No, he's a bottom six forward. I don't think they'd give up on Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen now because he's looking like their goalie of the future. He's their Philip Larson, except he's better than Philip Larson. Yeah,
We'll just take Jack Eichel. It's all good.
problem solved.
There's 10 mil right off your cap right there, Buffalo. You don't have to
Perfect.
worry about it. Yeah, it's a deal that I would have a hard time seeing for a lot of different reasons. But yeah, especially considering how much better Mantha is.
And also, let's not forget that Rasmus Ristolainen is a big right-handed shooting, decent skating defenseman.
Mm-hmm.
We just took one of those 6 overall and one of those 35th overall. It's not a huge organizational need anymore.
No, there are a lot of defensemen coming off the books next year, which is an area of concern for only one reason, and that reason being the players who are going to fill those spots don't have a ton of experience, and like that's valid. I genuinely believe that we shouldn't discount that right away, just because the players that are leaving maybe should have left 5 years ago. But that's a valid thing. But the problem isn't going to be that there's going to be no one to replace him. Detroit has plenty of prospects and guys who are ready to come up and take those minutes. So adding another defenseman to the mix right now really does not make sense. I mean, if you're going to send Trevor Daley or Ericsson back for the last year, then that's fine. But
Why even bother?
why? Legitimately, why bother? This year there are. I mean, we might have to bother for the Red Wings to make the room. But yeah, in terms of like cap relief, it's not. There's no real need. That's not really an issue anymore. It's all coming now. Have we talked about? Was it last podcast we talked about Khan and Helene St. James talking about how Ericsson's gonna have to fight for a roster spot for the first time?
I don't think we talked about that on the podcast.
Oh, we might have just been like talking. Oh, we talked about it at our meeting.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah, we had a meeting.
We had a business meeting. That was the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah.
I ate way too much food.
Yeah, we got a lot of food.
We
Yeah,
got so much food.
too much.
Yeah, we essentially just forced ourselves to sit down on a day where we weren't recording to plan things out.
Hence why we have so many cool and now steadfast ideas and plans for this season.
They're in writing. I saved it to PDF. You can't even edit it.
Damn.
You can edit PDFs. It's 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for the first time ever, Jonathan Ericsson is perceived to be fighting for a roster spot. Great.
That's what happens when you're bad.
Welcome to 2016. I'm glad we caught up.
And I'm also going to preface this by saying in Helene St. James' article, she specifically said she expects Jonathan Ericsson and Trevor Daley to do the Red Wings bottom pairing, which is the one thing that cannot happen this year. If both of them are on the roster of the 7 defensemen, that's fine. But you healthy scratch either Ericsson or Daley every game, and their other partner is either Kasky, Bowey, or Cholowski.
You want to make a $5 bet right now?
Oh, no, I fully agree with Helene St. James that this is what's probably going to happen.
Yeah.
I disagree with it fully, but I trust her sources. She's been right on stuff before.
Yeah, it's nice to see that the reporting and the beat writing from much closer to the team is even mentioning this now. It really kind of lends credibility to the fact that the organization is thinking this way, and that where that's coming from is obvious. You know, Eisman coming in, he's a very pragmatic, good GM who can evaluate talent well, and especially with this brand new pro scouting staff, you know, they look internally as internally as well and are saying all of these players right now that we're trying to see what they are and what can become of them are still better right now than what Ericsson and Dahlin are putting out, you know. And if Cronwall comes back, he's obviously going to offer more. He'll get the roster spot. But then we especially need to start saying Jonathan Ericsson doesn't get a roster spot automatically just because of who he is.
Because if we're going to use the most conservative comparable here, the Red Wings just traded for a young project defenseman named Madison Bowey last year. Not an uber high-end prospect, not as high-end prospect as In-Seider or any of the other defensemen in the draft, or even Oliver Kasky. But here's what he is. Currently and already better than Jonathan Ericsson and Trevor Daley, and 23. He's worth giving ice time to, just so you know what you have.
We've said it ad nauseum on this show. What value do you have in forcing the ice time to an aging veteran whose play has been declining from a base level of poor for years and years and years, in a year where you're not even close to contending? There's virtually zero positive value to it in any realm of thinking.
There's only one argument that could be made for that, and that's if they've got Danny DeKeyser's contract, and it's like, well, he ain't going anywhere for a while anyway. Let's see if we can right this ship.
I wasn't talking about DeKeyser.
No, I'm not talking about DeKeyser. I'm using that as an example because DeKeyser played fairly well last year, actually. I'm saying if you have a Jonathan Ericsson on a Danny DeKeyser length of contract, you're like, okay, well, we can't get rid of him. We have to do something. And even that, I don't know I fully agree with, but I could hear that argument. It's even more relevant because Ericsson and Daly are both on the last year of their contracts. There is zero reason to trot them out there on a nightly basis unless you have no other defenseman to trot out there. If you watch preseason and legitimately go, yeah, Cholowski and Kasky are not ready under any circumstance. They have to go to Grand Rapids. Okay, that's fine. Well, guess what? Madison Bowey and Joe Higgins can't go through waivers. So there's more of an argument to play them then. And we know they are capable of playing a bottom pairing role in the NHL. It's not like you throw a Kasky in there and hope. We know what we're going to get out of Higgins and Bowey, and the results over the last year of watching their sample in the NHL weren't bad.
Yeah. You know what the nice thing about all this is that the conditioning and the healthiness of the team has been poor for some time, and you can count on, honestly, on average at 2.2 injuries to the defensive core by the start of the year, and at any given point thereafter, 1.7 injuries at any given point in the season.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of problems solved just by the poor conditioning.
Yeah, and we're making a massive deal about this because we have nothing else to talk about this offseason. But in reality, the problem is more likely than not going to work itself out. We're going on the hypothetical that everybody's healthy October 5th.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, I mean, that'd be a fun problem to sort.
That'd be a relief of a problem to have because, the injuries to this team have been horrifying. But we did get Mike Barwis, right, who's the new strength and conditioning guy. So, hey, maybe it won't be an issue this year. I mean, Trevor Daley and Jonathan Ericsson combined are roughly 700 years old. So, again, odds are.
I feel bad because they're they're well loved by fans and by their fellow teammates because they're great dudes.
Oh, they're probably the best guys.
They've been through the ringer though. It doesn't matter what. Okay, let's remove my opinion on Jonathan Ericsson's play aside. The guy has been beat up. Thumb injuries, a hip injury, a back injury. Trevor Daley, the same crap. These guys are on the tail end of their career. It is not easy for them to condition in the summer. Their body doesn't do that anymore. They can't go to the summer and just regenerate back to 100%.
But what we said last episode, or the episode before, is how many players in the entire NHL can you legitimately say are bad dudes that you dislike? And you could probably count it on one hand.
Yeah.
So
Sean Avery.
Everybody we're talking about are probably good dudes, well loved by their teammates. So we take their personality out of it because in the end, this is still a business and you make business decisions.
Right.
So you got to be cold and callous about these. It's not like we hate these guys, and I'll repeat that ad nauseum until we no longer record podcasts. I love Justin Abdelkader. I still want him in Grand Rapids, but I love the dude.
Yeah.
It's fine. You're allowed to have these opinions and still like the guy. And like I said, we base them on quality of NHL player, and Jonathan Ericsson and Trevor Daley are no longer that.
Yeah, just we haven't done any market testing on this, but we're just going on the hot take that you guys don't care about our feelings about the players, but our feelings about hockey instead.
We just want it to be clear.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
some people.
Well, as the show
really
grows, we get a lot of fans. Like, you know, we get some. We try to reach out for feedback, and one that comes up from fans who might, I don't know, podcasts might not be for them. They always say like, oh, you like just hate him because he's not European, or you just hate him because not everyone's gonna be Datsuk. Like,
We're not European.
Grit is like so important. Look, man, we don't hate the guy. We're all a big fan of the people. Anyways, that's our disclaimer. We'll say it again every 6 episodes, probably.
Yeah.
Speaking of injuries, this isn't hockey, but Andrew Luck. Whoa, my God.
And fans booed him last night.
Oh my! I want it.
Every fan that booed him should be fired into the sun.
Okay, look, I'm not mad at Schefter for leak. Like, if you got that leak, that is a massive story, and as a reporter, it's your job to push that.
That's the biggest NFL story since what? Barry Sanders retiring?
Yeah.
Like, of course you're going to report that.
If you're the person who leaked it, look, we work more on the reporter side of things, so I'm not going to tell you you're a bad person, but like, man,
It's not your place to be announcing things, saying things like that out in public.
Anyways, so we got Andrew Luck is retiring. If you're not big into football, it's essentially like as if Jonathan Tavares was injury riddled and retired this offseason. It's like the exact same like caliber of player, age-ish, like same-ish age. Yeah, it would be absolutely nuts. But pretend it was John Tavares when he was still on the Islanders, like, because Luck is the Colts. He's retiring, and it got leaked in the middle of the game, and he didn't even have a chance to tell his team. He wanted to tell his team first, and as he was walking off the field, fans booed him.
Yikes, that's a bad look.
Indianapolis, come on.
That's a big yikes.
That is an absolute big old yikes. It's not all the fans, but dude, the guy has been like kidney lacerations, torn cartilage in his ribs, like broken this, severed that.
Shoulder injury, now a calf and ankle injury that just isn't healing itself.
They've misdiagnosed him so many times. At least one major concussion. Like, can you blame the guy for keeping his $25 million and saying, I would prefer to keep years on my life and be able to lift my child in
I
the
thought he
air?
left like $60 million on the table or something.
No, they said they were going to honor all the money in his contract.
Yeah, he keeps. They could have recouped like around $25 million, but they're not going to. But he did essentially leave 60 on the table,
Oh my
like
God.
in future earnings.
Now, the reason we brought up this football topic on a hockey podcast is because what would the reaction be?
Because John Tavares is retiring.
Yeah.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, what would the reaction be if an NHL player did the same thing? Because I fully commend Andrew Luck for doing this.
Leafs fans would be loud and booing.
They'd have to move out of town.
I think most fan bases would. We'd be lying if we said Dylan Larkin retired tomorrow that Red Wings fans wouldn't turn on him.
Pavel Datsuk essentially retired at the age of like 36, and he still had
And Red
half the
Wings
fan
fan
base
turned up.
mad at
Yeah,
him.
well, he went and played hockey somewhere else. That's like Andrew Luck going to play in the CFL right now after saying his body's broken down.
Okay, yeah, you know what? That's fair. That's a fair qualifier.
But that wasn't Datsuk's reason. Datsuk wanted to be with his family in Russia.
Yeah.
That'd be like Andrew Luck going and playing for some beer league team wherever his hometown is, because that's where his wife and kids are. Like, but
There's bear league teams everywhere on the horn right now.
Either way, I'm always sad when an elite talent leaves a sport because, A, from a selfish standpoint, I no longer get to watch that elite talent. It's fun. But that being said, I'm glad Andrew Luck did this, and I'm glad there was a very prominent player in his position that said, no, my health and well-being, and then thus the health and well-being of my family are more important than this sport. Because a sport is a game and doesn't matter. Even though that's all we talk about, that's our lives.
Doesn't that happen frequently in NFL? Players just retire
A lot of O and D
hurt.
linemen, actually.
Yeah,
And they made some money.
but not of this.
Is that what like
significance.
Marshawn Lynch did? Is that why he retired briefly?
No, he played pretty old for a running back.
Is he? Did he re-retire?
Yeah, I think so. Well, he's not playing this
He
year. so-
unretired, right?
Yeah.
When he was younger-ish.
Are you sure he re-retired? Former. Yeah, you're right. It happens quite a bit in football, but football's a different sport in terms because like there are actually like decades taken off your life depending on the amount of hits you take. It's not the same as hockey or anything else.
The shelf life of the average NFL career lasts 3 years
Yeah.
when you average it out. Hockey's a little longer than that.
A long-serving running back is 9 years, like long-serving. if a NHL player plays 9 years, you're like, oh, they got a good career in.
Yeah.
But you think of like
it's just like the grinding and the pounding of football is completely different.
Let's take a mediocre, middle level, decent, serviceable player. Anybody else realize that Valtteri Filppula is going into his 13th season?
Is he at 13?
Oh yeah, the NHL.
His first NHL game was in 05-06.
The NHL is definitely one of those sports where you can just grind it out in the middle forever.
People, there's this like notion that everyone's going to do what, Crosby's going to end up doing, what Yzerman did, what Sakic did, which is like play 20, 21, 22 years. And you're like, no, that's really
There's a reason why
do.
Those things are celebrated and they do big ceremonies for those players.
You can be good. You can be good enough to play 20 years, and you still have to hope your body lasts for 20 years.
And at what point is it worth it anymore? Which is the question here. Andrew Luck was 29. Sidney Crosby has had a myriad of injuries, especially concussions. If he gets another bad concussion in, let's say, 2 years, he's made all the money he'd ever need to make. He's won 3 cups. Would he really have the need to keep going? No. So if he said, you know what, this is it, I'm done. I don't want, he would never name him by name, but he's like, I don't want the rest of my life to be what Johan Franzen's going through right now.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm done. And he retires at 34.
Yeah, absolutely.
The hockey Penguins fans would turn on him. The hockey world would turn on him. But more players need to do this when it's time. Now, that being said, if you are like a Patrick Marleau right now or a Joe Thornton and you're healthy and clear and free going into your 40s, by all means, keep going. It's
that's
great.
the dream.
Yeah, that's the dream. Go as long as you can. But as soon as it starts to go sideways, get out of Dodge. And I think players are starting to realize that it's just not worth it. Look at the story of Joe Murphy right now, the former first-round pick of the Red Wings. He's homeless because he suffered so many brain injuries.
Heartbreaking, man.
Yeah, he's back on the street now and refusing help.
Yeah, and you read like what he's saying to the reporter who found him when he like was back on the street. Like, this isn't like anything other than this man is suffering from mental illness. He needs a doctor. That's it. He needs a doctor and he needs treatment, and he's been let down because you can always make the argument, well, you don't know for sure whether it came from the impact of the hits that he suffered or anything like that. But look, I studied. It was just an undergrad. I'm not pretending to be an MD. I'm not. There's nothing that I'm offering as medical advice. But I studied biomed when I was in my undergrad, and we essentially know we know 1,000 times more now about the brain and brain injury than we did 10 years ago, and we still know about 1/1000th of what we think we should to even start to be able to handle this properly. So that's scary as hell. And what we need to be doing is overprotecting and over-treating and compensating for all these hits that these players are taking to try and preserve their bodies. It's not a joke. Like people are saying, like, oh, players signed up for it and they know what they were getting into. No, they legitimately didn't.
Most of them didn't. I had a major concussion, and I'm talking severe concussion at 16 years old, where I don't remember anything a week leading up to the game.
Yeah, I
came back 3 months later and thought, I was just like, oh yeah, this is fine. I was an idiot. Everybody was an idiot. Nobody knows their head from their ass because we're not all biomed students. We didn't have the information. So, the current group of rookies coming into the NHL now, they know. They don't really have much of an excuse. There's enough information out there. They know what's going on.
They know. We're better informed about what we're not informed about. So the plausible deniability for that is Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they have a pretty good estimation, and Andrew Luck's might be, his injuries weren't concussions. I think he only had one concussion. But
one big one.
He's the poster child for now. No, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. And like I said,
respect it.
I'm
really do.
so happy that he did, because what this all boils down to is the people who booed Andrew Luck and the people who were online trashing him for this. These are the people that are going to get other athletes killed, because they're going to see these reactions, this backlash, this go, and after their 3rd, 4th, 5th concussions, even if they know it's time, or whatever injury it might be, maybe they don't walk ever again because the knee's going down, or who cares? Doesn't matter what the injury is. They're going to go, well, I can't be that guy. I can't leave now. I'm only 30. I'm only 31. I got to keep going. And they're going to keep going. And it's going to get worse. So there's going to be athletes that are going to die prematurely. There are going to be athletes that end up homeless, addicted to pills, addicted to alcohol, because they were scared of how these idiots react when they leave
Yeah.
way too soon.
If people think that this wave of former NFL players dying in their 40s and 50s and 60s due to brain-related injuries is going to slow down now that there's attention to this, there's a 50-year delay on this stuff. It's just starting now.
We figured out what's going on. We haven't figured out a way to stop it yet or cure it.
Yeah. Anyways, it's getting... Injuries. They suck. You have to respect what Luck did, but that is a absolute nuclear bomb of a story. We joke about like wash bombs for basketball fans. This is like a Schefter nuke. Like this, that is the biggest story in NFL, and it will be the biggest story in the NFL for a long time.
Yeah. Again, just to put it in perspective for Red Wings fans, could you imagine that when Steve Yzerman's knee trouble started in the late 90s, he just said, "Yeah, no, that's it."
Yeah. Before everything good came about, it was too much for him.
Yeah.
Ooh, hate to think about that. All right. Some more Wings stuff, actually. Corey Pronman has been releasing his ranking of 2019 NHL farm systems, and he made it all the way up to 13 before naming the Detroit Red Wings, so he ranked them the 13th best farm system. And that's a big drop. I believe last year they were number 7.
Yep.
For good reason, though. They had 2 players graduate.
3 significant prospects.
Yes,
graduate.
3.
Rasmussen, Hronek, and Cholowski no longer qualified.
Which is funny because Rasmussen might get more time in the AHL this year.
And probably Cholowski as well.
Yeah. But no, those are fair assessments, and those are 3 really significant prospects. First prospect, obviously, Filip Zadina. Ranked him as a high-end prospect.
Yeah, he's come down on Zadina. But he's still big on Zadina.
Yeah. I think if you're looking for a down-to-earth, objective, maybe a little bit more conservative take on Zadina, Corey Pronman's is a good one to evaluate. He definitely doesn't have the same bias as we are, and he's not as high on him as we are, and I think that's fair from his angle. I mean, he's not in the weeds on Detroit stuff, and so you look at it through his lens, and that's exactly what you're going to see. But still hasn't projected as a potential top-line forward, which is great. He has Moritz Seider number 2, and he's had a lot of good things to say about Moritz Seider recently.
The more interesting things about Moritz Seider wasn't from this article. Right. It was from the Q&A he did after. I think he does like Q&As live on The Athletic every couple of weeks just to answer people's questions about whatever. And there were 2 non-Red Wings questions. One was, what prospect's opinion have changed the most since the draft? And he said Nolan Foote in Tampa Bay and Moritz Seider in Detroit. And then there was a follow-up question, good or bad reasons. And for both of them, he said good. And then another question later down, he said, what prospect are you most excited to watch at the upcoming prospect tournaments? And his one-word answer was Seider.
Just Seider.
So he seems to be higher on Seider than most. The development camp did a real good job of bringing my opinion on Seider way up because I saw a lot of offensive instinct and a lot of puck skill that I didn't see before. I thought for sure, slam dunk, locked and loaded, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Joe Veleno is the number 2 ranked prospect in the Red Wings right now. But damn if I might not be coming around on Corey's side here. I'm not there yet. I'm going to try and talk myself into it and see what happens.
Yeah.
But, man, Seider. Here's the question, though, that I will say unequivocally I don't even think can be debated. Moritz Seider is the more important prospect between Seider and Veleno. Not necessarily that he's the better player or the better prospect at the moment, but the Red Wings can get by if Veleno doesn't pan out. They have enough options there, and it's not quite as significant of a role as what Seider will play. We're hoping Joe Veleno becomes the number 2 center, which is a very important position. We're hoping Moritz Seider becomes a top pairing defenseman.
Okay, here's where I want to separate 2 things, and this is like a philosophical difference. We want Moritz Seider to be the more important prospect. I don't think that necessarily makes him the more important prospect.
I'm not talking about talent level here, more so the role that they will fill.
We want Moritz Seider to fill a top pairing defenseman.
Yeah.
But let's say he's not. Let's say you fall into where I'm at, where I'm excited about Seider and I think he has a chance to be up there, but if you put him into the probability chart, he's more likely to slot in as a second pairing defenseman. Not saying that's what I want of him, of course. I'm rooting for the guy to be the best defenseman Detroit's ever had. Second best.
No, I hope he's better than Lidstrom. I really do. That would be fantastic,
That'd be
Ryan.
But let's just say he's probably not going to be that or be a top pairing defenseman. What's different? I think saying that he is our most important prospect when he's likely not going to be a top pairing defenseman is not different than saying Tuomisto is more important than Veleno, even though we know he's not likely going to be a top pairing defenseman.
Well, you factor in probability, likelihood versus reality, right?
I'm being a little too black and white here.
Yeah, because is Moritz Seider going to be a top pairing defenseman? Maybe, maybe not, but there's a very reasonable argument to be made he will be. And looking at the current Red Wings depth chart, yeah, he's almost certainly going to be a top pairing defenseman if everything even goes 80% right for him. Yeah. He'll be on the top pair. Whereas, not that we need Veleno to be a number. Or he is right now our only true good candidate to be a second line center, but there are other options there. You can always move Athanasiou back. It's not ideal, but it works. There's other prospects that may or may not fill that role, but you look through the Red Wings system for guys right now who I think could actually make an argument for top pairing defensemen, like without really overblowing them. It's Hronek and Seider. That's the end of the list.
Yeah. And you know what? Compared to Veleno, I think I need to apply my argument to both sides here. I think Veleno is very exciting. He's not going to be a number one center in this league. Like, he's not going to be a top 15 center. Most likely not.
Top 30 would be amazing.
Top 30 would be like a phenomenal turnout.
I'm hoping for him to be an above average second line center, which if you just want to go strictly numbers on there, that means he's a top 45 center in the NHL.
So yeah, a potential top pairing guy at this point to the Red Wings is more important than a potential good 2C. Although not by a lot, because the Red Wings really need high-end center talent.
No, and I am a believer that I tend to agree with Corey when he says forwards drive this league, and it's more important to have a high-end forward to carry your team than it is to have a high-end defenseman. And I do agree with that, but the Red Wings defense is just so bad.
Yeah,
we have to put a premium on that right now. Now, again, if we're looking in a bubble at where's Joe Veleno at as a prospect, where's Moritz Seider at as a prospect, Veleno gets my vote.
Oh yeah,
he's a year older. He's done more. He's proven that there's reason to be high. Seider's a huge wild card still. We are talking about a guy who just came off a 6-point season. Now, mind you, that's in a pro league against men as a 17-year-old. All those qualifiers are the reasons we're excited. But he hasn't proven anything yet. Whereas Veleno just was arguably the best player in the QMJHL the last season. So there's very legitimate reasons to expect this guy to, at worst, be a really good third-line center in the NHL.
Yeah. We won't dive too much into this. I think we'll talk more about these rankings once we start to release our own.
Yeah,
because Brad's will be out first. But just in general, obvious third after Seider is Veleno, and then he has Berggren, so that all aligns. And then he's higher on some.
Not my top four.
He has Kasky. Well, I mean, not mine either. But we actually agreed on that in the pre-show. He has Kasky, he has Master Simoni, and then MacIsaac.
He was really low on two prospects for me that I was surprised. And then one of them I went and did my rankings and it made sense. But MacIsaac felt low.
Yeah.
And Hirose felt real low.
Regula felt very high to me.
I could see the argument, but yeah,
I'm happy about it. But
there was a lot of prospects I couldn't justify putting him in front of when I looked at their talent levels. But yeah, I could see it because again, the hardest thing about doing these prospect rankings isn't necessarily ranking skill level or what they're good at, what they're bad at, etc. It's where do you put likelihood of making it versus actual top-end skill level. Because, again, just to take two completely different players, but you take an Otto Kivenmäki and an Alec Regula. There's no questions in my mind that Kivenmäki is a more skilled, exciting player.
Yeah.
But I would argue that Regula's odds of actually becoming a regular in the NHL are way higher than Kivenmäki's.
And that makes
way higher. So, like, who do you put ahead there, right?
That makes a ton of sense because you know who Kivenmäki as a player is. He is going to be a fringe outside. You can't assign a number to him until he breaks in, and his probability of breaking in is low. But if he breaks in, it's high risk. It's like if he breaks in, he'll explode. But it's more likely that he won't break in at all.
Yeah, because Kivenmäki is not playing in the bottom six.
No.
On any NHL team. And you look at his skill set, and it's good, but I don't know if it's top six NHL good. No. So he's either going to play a very prominent role and absolutely blow by an Alec Regula on the depth chart, or he's not going to be relevant at all. Whereas Regula, as his skill set stands, he's probably only like a year or two away from being able to be a very good, not very good, but like a serviceable bottom pairing defenseman. Now, is a guy who plays on your bottom pairing for 10 years more valuable than a guy who never plays a game for you? Absolutely. But at this point in their progress, You have no way of knowing or guessing.
Yeah.
It's a crapshoot, because I remember when I was putting together my list. So, like, for reference, there's still going to be some juggling in my list because I haven't even done my prospect write-ups. But I've, for the most part, got my order hammered out, and I had a guy like Kevin Mackey way lower than I thought I would, like way lower. So it's a weird juggling act, and I can't wait for everybody to yell at me.
Oh man, we made a lot out of this episode. We're really good at the off season,
and we haven't talked about the fact it snowed in Vegas.
Yeah. So Kuznetsov, this is actually something I'm happy that we get to talk about. So there was the video a few months ago about Kuznetsov. There's cocaine in a video with him. Or was he doing the coke in the video, or was there just cocaine in the video?
It was just there.
Yeah, so the IIHF, International Hockey, is suspending him for 4 years from international play.
That's harsh.
That's harsh.
That's the ban hammer.
That's no Olympics.
The
Nose Olympics?
He'd win those.
You have to talk more, man. You legitimately have to talk more. It is insane. We are, okay, I'm being totally serious here. For listeners, give us your ideas for a episodical segment that Evan runs. Evan leads a segment every single episode. Something that's in his wheelhouse, where he could just be at the most Evan he can ever be.
Evan's emojis. It's a blog post he puts up on the site, and it's nothing but emojis, and we have to translate.
Oh, God. I don't think Evan even has emojis enabled on his phone.
Television shows do that just to put hot girls on TV.
Yeah, that's what we have. You're our hot girl.
Oh, God.
Evan's our hot girl.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you know what? We're in the process of making like a channel intro video, and I know that's gonna. Evan's our hot girl is gonna be one of the clips played. Damn it.
Fair enough.
Okay, the NHL handled this right. The NHL didn't suspend him. The NHL's policies on drugs is one of the best things about the NHL. They test for these things. They do not punish for weed or coke.
That's what I love about the NFL. Don't you get suspended for marijuana?
Yeah, you get suspended for saying the word marijuana. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yes, because none of those guys.
Let's not forget, Laramie Tunsil lost $12 million because a video of him smoking a bong came out on draft night.
Isn't that not like grounds for? I get it's not grounds for a lawsuit, but like $12 million this guy lost out of his life.
Oh, I actually just watched an hour-long documentary on YouTube about that whole thing, and man, it is.
If I was an NFL prospect going in the first round, I would lock myself in my bedroom.
So Andrew Luck did.
In forever until I'm drafted.
Well, no, that's because Andrew Luck was just playing D&D.
Yeah, honestly.
Okay, but there's one thing before you get back to your point on Kuznetsov that not just from we'll call it an ethical standpoint, but from an actual legal in the rules standpoint, the reason the IIHF threw the book at Kuznetsov is because they have cocaine listed as a performance-enhancing substance, whereas the NHL does not. The NHL lists it more in the recreational category. That is
smart.
Yeah, no, I agree, but I'm just saying that's the main crux of the suspension here, and where the big differentiation between the IIHF and the NHL comes in.
Man, if like. No, but look, hockey is filled with rich, predominantly white, but if you don't want to get into that, rich young men playing a sport, they got into this league before they were even done maturing as men. They're going to use drugs, man. That's what they do. It's what society like.
It's literally written into hockey lore.
Well, go into the world of finance. These are all very wealthy people who are go. If you remove the cocaine from the finance industry, the
GDP is going way
the markets will
down.
crash. And this isn't an advocate. Don't do coke.
Don't.
Yeah, don't.
Don't.
But you can't be surprised that people are doing this. And the way the NHL is handling this is that they recognize it and they test for it. And if someone tests positive, they don't throw them out on the streets. They offer help. And if it's enough where they think it's a problem, they'll put them in a rehab program to get them back on the ice.
Yeah, because Kuznetsov's entering that program voluntarily. Because I think I'm gonna go air quotations voluntarily because I don't know for sure. Because I think I was reading something and I didn't save this, which is my fault. But I think the NHL, when they bust players for this kind of stuff, they go, we're gonna essentially let you off the hook, but you're checking in. If you don't check in, we're gonna throw the book at you. I think that's kind of the approach they take.
It's
subjective. It's not confirmed. It's all rumors, but that's kind of where the NHL's out with it, which is, again, far better. If the dude's got a problem, the NHL's going, our first option here is to help you. But if you're not going to offer help, well, then screw you, dude.
Mike Richards went through that.
You know who was a great case before he messed up his life in other ways was the guy who finished on Nashville or Dallas. Always looked like gaunt. I can't remember his name. Very talented. Mike Ribeiro.
Oh, yeah.
He ended up leaving the league because he ended up doing a lot of other shitty things. But this is a guy with a ton of talent who they were constantly working with, and he hit rock bottom a couple times, and they worked with him to get him back. And the only person whose fault it was in the end was Mike Ribeiro's. It's so funny, the dichotomy between, you know, how the NHL and professional sports league, well, the NHL handles drugs and how all professional sports leagues handle domestic abuse. Because, like, in the NFL, if you give your wife a right cross in an elevator clearly on video, you miss 2 games. You get suspended for 2 games. But if you have a cool hotbox mask on, and that wasn't even relevant to anything at the time, it's from when you were like 16 years old.
You dropped 13 spots in the draft.
Directly tied to the amount of millions of dollars you can earn in your contract. What a joke. Although, what a treat for who was it? Baltimore who drafted him?
Miami.
Yeah, a treat for them. Bet they were happy about it.
Yep.
So stupid, man. Anyways.
Got 3 picks away from Buffalo. I was a little rattled.
Kuznetsov, look, I feel for him. I don't feel too bad for him. I mean, I think there is a certain amount of, look, I know it sucks and it's a dumb rule, but you got to be smarter than that. You have to, like, be aware of who you're with and who you are.
He's the guy who got caught.
Yeah.
Basically.
Like, if you don't want to think about this, don't listen to what I'm going to say next. Think about your favorite 5 players. 6 of them have been exposed to this kind of stuff in some degree. Like, that's just the reality of it.
Doesn't mean they participated, but they've been in the room.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Well, I guess the one question is, why don't more players get caught by the IIHF?
I don't think they have any interest in that, because then they'll have to suspend everyone. They just couldn't avoid this one because it was on camera.
Fair enough. You put a target on his back, basically.
Like there's no choice for them. Again, they know full well.
And does the IHF the IHF wouldn't test players unless it's around a tournament, right? So
yeah,
you would hope that some of these players are not doing it, but the ones that are not dumb enough to just go, well, I'm going over to Prague for the tournament. We're just going to blow snow there for 2 weeks and hope they don't test me. Of course you're going to get tested, so they probably knock it off ahead of time.
Yeah, because I think cocaine only lasts in your body for like a few days.
It's a pretty fast.
So he would have had to have been...
yeah, like I said.
He was in a snowstorm fairly recently.
We're going to move over to overtime before this goes too far south. Before we get into overtime, I wanted to mention something. Part of our expanded efforts to improve the podcast this year is listening to your feedback on ways to engage with you more. We are going to be bringing our Discord page over as a Patreon exclusive content, and using that as a means of just like casual conversation, communication with you guys. We're still going to be keeping the structure of Patreon comments on the show. We're still going to be, utilizing all that.
Probably download Discord.
I messaged in the thing in Discord in the general chat yesterday or 2 days ago. No one messaged me back.
Well, it's not very active. So that's the kind of thing where Evan will be able to just kind of like give us the rundown of what Discord is, because he games more than us.
Basically just like a chat platform. But you can link in, I think, like RSS?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can integrate stuff like that into it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of tie into Patreon stuff, too. If you guys are very well-versed in Discord and want to help moderate it, give us a shout. We'd love to see what you guys come up with. A lot of this will just take kind of like, if you're on Discord quite a bit anyways, we'd be happy to throw some swag or merch your way. Yeah, let us know if that's something you want to do. We're going to get into overtime, brought to you by our Patreon supporters. Starting from Clayton Van Dyken, says, "Hey boys, long time no see. I figured since it's getting close to the season, it's about time I comment again. I do have a couple questions for you, but before I get to them, I want to take the opportunity to thank you guys for that Larkin jersey I won. About damn time it showed up. It took a while to get that C sewed on, just like another Larkin jersey that we're thinking about. Anywho, to the questions, I'm well aware that the Wings are destined for another playoff-less season, but I can't help but feel a lot more excitement for this year than I did the previous one. Are you guys more, equally, or less excited for the season?" More for not winning reasons, more just because, the team is on a path now that I very much agree with.
Oh yeah, we're gonna stink.
Yeah.
But at least we've got a lot of the old bones out.
Yeah. Brad, more or less or same excitement for this reason?
More, because even though it's going to be still too veteran heavy, this should be the youngest version of this team we've seen in a while.
On a somewhat different note, I keep hyping myself up on the possibility we see a fair bit of trades this year. Howard has no trade clause or no move clause, and Nielsen, Green, Ericsson, and Daly all have modified NTCs. Do you guys think any of them get traded, and if so, how many? I kind of think Green and Howard are going to be sold off at the trade deadline, and maybe if we're lucky, one of Daly or Ericsson too.
Green needs to not get hurt like a week before the trade deadline.
Yeah. You know what? Like, Yzerman is very, very well-versed and has a lot of experience in making trades out of nothing, so I'm not going to say it won't happen, but the kind of players and the kind of contracts that we're looking at moving makes it difficult. So I think, optimistically, we'll see 2 trades this year, and one of them will be clearing a contract that we want to get rid of. That is very optimistic. Further, Abdelkader's contract becomes a modified no trade starting next year. Here's what Cap Friendly says about his contract.
I thought it was already voided because we missed the playoffs.
Yeah, I think it does. No trade clause in 2016 to 2017 to 2019, 2020. Oh, I thought anyways, it's modified, so if Detroit misses the playoffs or Abdelkader's not among the top 9 forwards in time on ice, which is going to be the case, he can be traded to any team. Yeah. If he can be traded, then that'd be great, but that'll be very hard to move.
It's irrelevant.
Finally, if you were to commit a murder, how'd you go about it? I would punch a fellow podcast host in the throat, just off the top of my head. That's how I would do it. I think that's all of our answers.
No, I'd probably put someone in like some chemical bath so that it just like dissolves them.
Cool, that's recorded now.
I mean, if, not when.
Oh, that's true. They can't get you. They can't get you now.
Nice try, NSA.
Nice try, FBI guy. Andrew Dubiel says, "What's up, cheese bags?" For some reason, I chose to comment while I'm on my honeymoon in Fort Lauderdale. Hey, congratulations, man. Before we all set sail on our 7-day cruise to the Bahamas, which will probably be at the time of this recording. Might be due to the constant stress of not having hockey in my life right now. I found there's a sheet of ice on my cruise, but unfortunately I couldn't play hockey on it. Trust me, I asked, what's your favorite vacation, or where's the next vacation destination you have coming up? My next vacation is actually a cruise that leaves out of Fort Lauderdale, and it goes through like the Caribbean, I think. First time I've ever been on a cruise.
Cruises are cool.
Yeah.
I have a 3-year-old and a pregnant wife. I'm not going anywhere for a long time.
I'll bring you back a little jar of sand from Grand Turk.
Okay.
Best vacation I've ever been on. I did a week in Scotland, and like I did a month in Southeast Asia, and that week in Scotland was just like the best time of my life. I absolutely love it there.
I've only ever been on like 2 actual vacations in my life. Best one was probably when it was just Crystal and I down in the Mayan Riviera for a week. That was fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, we did the ATVing through the jungle. We did the whole cave diving thing. We swam with dolphins, and I drank a lot while relaxing on the beach. It was perfect.
Don Mitchell says, "What up, duds? Desperately trying to make it through this awful offseason. Seriously, with as many RFAs that are unsigned and with pretty decent UFAs out there, we get nothing. Maybe I'll make a Twitter rumor to get the pot going. Sources out of Detroit are saying they're finalizing a trade. Abdelkader and Helm for Victor Hedman. Confirmed." Now let's hope someone from TSN or Sportsnet is listening. The Prospects Tournament in Traverse City is coming up in 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. Out of the teams, where do you realistically put Detroit in terms of promising depth? There's Toronto, Chicago, St. Louis, Columbus, Dallas, Minnesota, New York, and Detroit.
I think out of all those teams, the only one you could really make a case for that's ahead of Detroit might be Chicago.
Yeah, they're definitely in the top 3 at least. Does New York have a lot of promising prospects, or did they just put them all on the team?
Like the Rangers?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess, well, since we're counting the guys who are going to be on the team, Kako is the trump card there, so they win, but... he won't be considered a prospect in about 2 months. So,
Philip Gastineau asked the very valid question of WTF is a cheese bag? Yeah, your guess is as good as ours. It's kind of taken a life of its own. Advanced Water says, Justin said it's the American dream. Advanced Water says, so this, I want to go see the Red Wings play every time they were near me. Anaheim, LA, Vegas, and San Jose. But my wife said 2 back-to-back weekend trips would be too much because he lives in LA. So San Jose is out. The other 3 are in. I usually sit in nosebleeds, but since I'm not going to San Jose, I decided to use the spare money to get lower bowl tickets for one of the games. Please decide which game I should get the lower bowl for. I will be sporting a Dub shirt for this game, so choose wisely. Yes.
I don't
Vegas.
know what any of those arenas or...
Vegas.
Is that an option? I thought
Yeah.
it was just California teams.
No, Vegas is close because it's close to LA.
Oh, hell yeah, Vegas. Yeah. It's not even up for debate then. Yeah, it's Vegas.
Vegas. That's awesome. Justin guessed it right. Joseph Delia says, "Sup, my dudes. Just curious if any of you guys are going to the Steve Q&A thingy." So we had a lot of plans to go to a lot of the events in Detroit before the home opener, but like I'm not even just saying this, like legitimately with like mapping out everything that we're doing for the podcast, it takes up a lot of our time, and we decided to just sit out on that and dedicate our time to kind of prepping for the season,
especially the home opener.
Yes, and so the home opener onwards is when we're going to see a lot more of us like attending those kind of events.
Yeah. We've already got our airplane and hotel booked for the draft in June.
Yes.
So excited. We will be in Montreal for that. Next year, we're hoping to, spend a lot more time at these kind of events. So, of course, we're also hoping to be credentialed by that point, but that's just another...
in the works.
That's something else entirely.
Joseph, and he continues to say, is there a question that we asked that bugs you or is asked too frequently you get tired of answering? Thanks. We're always, like, you guys are patrons. We're always happy to answer your questions. Like legitimately, even if it annoys us, it would never not be worth not answering. Questions that get asked often where I'm just like, I don't know, is when people are like, project starting, it'll be like May, and they'll say like, project the starting lineup this October, or like 2 years from now, or 3. I'm like, it's hard to build a whole, like, it's not valuable, I don't think.
I don't hate those questions. Those are fun exercises to do. The problem is anytime any little news breaks, we'll get a flood of those questions immediately after. The Red Wings have traded for Adam Ernie. What's your lineup look like now? Guys, it's not that impactful. Nothing above the fourth line has changed.
Yeah. It's like, it's a sad reality because like we need content and like, you want to make the most out of what little news you have as a fan, but it doesn't mean stop asking it because, like what Brad said, it's a fun exercise when there's a good reason to do it. Yeah, and we'll always,
and you got to do it at least once every off season. But it's like when Jonathan Ericsson's injured, or we traded for Adam Ernie, or this other minor league player was just signed. It doesn't. We're not doing it again. It doesn't matter.
Eric Baker says, "Oh hey there. At this point, what would be the smallest package you would trade Athanasiou for? Like anything below or less than blank would be a no."
Oh, man. So
first round pick or equivalent.
I wouldn't trade him for anything less than a projected top 15 pick because I think he's more valuable than a late first round pick.
I agree.
If we're talking for a current NHL player, I would trade him for an upper echelon second pairing defenseman. Like, could probably, definitely would be a first pairing guy on Detroit right now, but like a second pairing on a cup contender. I wouldn't be too interested in trading him for a package of lesser parts that add up.
No.
So like a second round pick and like a good defenseman wouldn't interest me at all.
In hockey, trading 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4.
Yeah, no.
By that I mean like if you assign a first round pick a value of X and you say, this many number of second round picks adds up to X, I still wouldn't take those second round picks. Like
I'm not using a draft chart to trade him. So if his chart says he's worth 600 points, I'm trading him for a single piece that's worth 600 points.
Yeah. Or those pieces add up to 900 points.
Yeah.
Vincent Saladino said, Vincent Saladino's a new patron. Vincent, welcome to the Winged Wheel the Dub Dub family. I think that's a good one. Is that what we settled on? The Dub Dub family?
That's what Steve settled on, and we never bothered to correct him.
He says, "Hello, boys. I finally decided to spend a whole $1 on you and become a patron. Been meaning to do it for a while, but I never got around to it. Thanks for supporting us, man. It means a lot to us." Anyways, looking at the playoffs, we see that goalies really are what make or break teams' chance at the Cup. Jordan Binnington being an absolute beast on the ice definitely was one of the driving factors for St. Louis to win the Cup, and also that Dallas in Game 7, they were producing no offense for 2 periods, and Ben Bishop was blocking almost every single shot, single-handedly keeping his team well into overtime. My point being is that I think that next year come draft season, the Red Wings should pick up Askarov. With someone who is said to be the next Vasilevsky, he could become a huge driving force to get us out of the rebuild. I'm telling you, just got a big fan of Brad. And lead our team through the playoffs like Hasek or Osgood once did. And with having our goaltenders be Askarov and Larson, we'd have some of the best goaltending in the league. And as much as I'd like Perfetti, Byfield, or any other good center, there's a chance that Veleno could fill the role of a second-line center. So my question is, do you think a potential star goalie like Askarov would be a better choice in the long run, or would you still go for a forward? P.S. I love your guys' content.
Big spider!
Where? Where?
Oh, that's a big one.
Where?
Oh, who has shoes?
I don't even see it.
It's over there. Why don't we can I use the bottom of this box?
Yeah, sure. Oh, that is a big one. So, turns out I'm the only one on this podcast not scared of spiders.
Oh, I don't like spiders.
Holy sh!
I knew from his Yelp that was spiders. I speak scared of spider. I knew what that was.
I'm so happy that happened live.
Shit. My BPMs is way up.
And
that was big.
and that was on video. I am so happy right now.
Oh my god.
Oh, there was a glitch with the video. Can't beep boop beep.
I think my grit per 60 just went up by like 100 points just by being in proximity to you guys and not reacting.
Oh, wow, what the hell were we talking about?
I was on Vincent's comment. He says, "I love your guys' content." And
Askarov, yeah.
he says, considering not much happens during the off season, the fact that you guys are able to make great episodes every week is crazy. Keep up the good work and stay fresh, cheese bags. Vincent, that means so much. Thank you so much, man. Askarov.
Okay. Is he worth a top 10 pick? Yes, but I would not take it. How do I put it this way? Prospect rankings are subjective. I'm going to rank Askarov where I think he's the best player in the draft when I get there. I think I have him somewhere between 5 and 10 right now. So if we're picking in the top 5, no, I'm not taking him. So would I take, based on the knowledge I have now, I don't take Askarov over Lafreniere, Raymond, Byfield, Perfetti, Holtz, and probably Drysdale. After that, I could absolutely make an argument for Askarov, and depending how his season goes, maybe I rank him 4, maybe I rank him 12. It's all subjective because you have to map out how good are they, how likely are they to project, and what's your system looking like. Yeah, Detroit's might have their guy in Larson, but it's a chance. But here's the thing about everything with the draft. It's a chance. Remember when Jack Campbell went 12th overall and only now he's turning into a serviceable NHL goalie? Which was 7 years later, so...
Goalies are wild, and the crazy thing about them is you can find a Jordan Binnington to win you a cup. I am much more keen on getting a top-end center, like a definite top-end center. I desperately want Dylan Larkin to be the second-best center on this team.
Yeah.
That might sound like blasphemy, but just think about it. Like, the center depth on this team needs to be better than Dylan Larkin dragging the rest of the corpses around him. I can't keep my feet on the floor. I have them on the legs of this chair right now.
I'm not happy.
Anyways, yeah, thanks for the great question. We're gonna be hearing a lot about Askarov this year. Matt Platt says, since we're truly in off-season content right now, what was your guys' favorite cup run you've watched? Can't be the Red Wings. Love the dub. Hang in there, only a few more months.
Oh, can't be the Red Wings.
Ooh.
Oh, man.
What cup run?
I hate every other team, so this is going to be tough.
Washington's was a blast to watch.
Yeah.
Washington's was real fun.
Vegas's last year was fun.
Yeah, if they won it, that would have been
As in, like, not
not
their first year. Their first year.
not the letting 4 goals in on one.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Hope's save in the, I believe, conference finals to essentially, like, that he doesn't make that save, they don't
And they
win
were
the cup.
down 2-0 to Columbus
Yeah.
in the first round.
So if we're just talking the team that won it, LA's in 2012 was really fun. Because they went in as the 8th seed.
Best 8th seed ever.
And then they dummied everybody in the playoffs. Like, it wasn't even close.
they lost, 4 games?
I think something like that, yeah. If we're talking, like, cumulative, man, it's 03-04 from both Tampa and Calgary's perspective was fun as hell. And then 05-06 from both Carolina and Edmonton's perspective was fun as hell, ignoring who Edmonton took out in the first round.
Every cup between 02 Red Wings and 08 Red Wings wins I had no interest in being happy because I knew that the Red Wings could have competed for those cups.
Yeah, you have to take that little qualifier out of it, but...
Joseph Fournier says, my dudes, I am exhausted. 2 weddings back to back. I was the best man last night. Hey, that's exciting. Then I got to go back home and finish cleaning out my childhood home, which closes on the 6th. Whoa, big move. Right now I'm waking up in my hotel room at the Marriott in the Renaissance Center. Holy crap, the view of Detroit. The river looks incredible up here. There's a beautiful view of Comerica Park, one of the best ballparks in the country. Very sharp forward field right next to it. And then off to the left, over the freeway, Little Caesars Arena, which looks incredibly stupid with the Little Caesars logo on top. Would much rather have a Red Wings and Pistons logo on it. And it's surrounded by urban blight. Living in New York City, I don't get a chance to see for myself the progress of the Project Detroit, but the Ilitches need to ramp it up, because boy, oh boy, there's still a lot that needs to be done. Use your Stay Fresh cheese bags responsibly. Stay fresh, my friends. Yeah, I'm hoping a lot of that ramps up soon. There's so much potential in that area, and... You know, whenever I tell people about Detroit, like, I'm such a huge advocate for it, and downtown Detroit is so awesome, and that is a part of the town that really needs to kick into high gear to develop and continue building the good work. Justin Klinsky says, "Sup, nerds. So I'm going to the prospect tournament Saturday till Monday. I can't wait to witness our holy #German Lidstrom perform a sermon on the ice and maybe run into Stevie while he's getting pizza. I'll slip him a 20 and persuade him into giving Helm the C. Have a good day, nerds, and I'll see you guys in October."
Do you want to get assassinated? Because that's how you get assassinated.
Stan Olsen says, "Hey guys, hope all is well. Who are some players you could actually see traded to help the logjam on defense? And what do y'all think about the Andrew Luck retiring?" We got that.
Actually traded? Ericsson, Daly.
Daly would be if they... Like, it would have to be a chrono situation where for some reason a team still has value assigned to him.
Yeah.
Looks like I'm going to come to the home opener / meetup. Super excited to see you guys again. Got my ticket to see the Wolverines play Iowa the day before as well. That's an awesome weekend. I'm pumped to see you again, Stan. Should be an awesome weekend. All right, we have time for some other questions. Joe Cool Reed on Reddit says, "What are the odds Pittsburgh misses the playoffs and gets Lafreniere?"
Higher than they should be.
Yeah, that's a hell I don't want to face. But yeah, realistically, they're higher than they should be. Winged Squigger says, "Is Ryan the Travis Yost of the podcast?" In other words, he has good hockey takes with awful food takes.
I don't know. Does he have good hockey takes, though? There's that whole offsides thing still.
Oh, I will murder you for starting that. I will absolutely murder you for starting that.
I appreciate how many people in the comments below got what I was doing there.
Appreciate how many people... Shut up, Brad.
They were awesome. Well, I'm going to make sure this is a full season thing for you now. And yes, your food takes are terrible. They're not Yost bad, but they're getting there.
Look, the breakfast stuff, I concede that it's not normal of me, and I know I can turn that around. I am right about pizza.
What was your pizza take?
Pepperoni.
No.
What's
I am
wrong with
right that
pepperoni?
chicken and white, like, that's not a what you named is not...
I didn't say white sauce, just chicken.
Still. There's nothing wrong with pepperoni.
No.
It's fine, but it shouldn't be anybody's favorite.
You hate the classics?
There's a lot of people in Brooklyn who are wanting to fight Brad now.
Everyone in New York, come here. Let's fight Brad.
$1 slice.
Seems like Brad hates America. Any good books that you guys read over the summer?
Both of you to assume I have time to read.
I haven't read a book since university.
I'm
Both of you
reading.
to assume Evan can read.
I'm currently reading The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, and I do like sci-fi and fantasy, and I just want to read a fiction book. It got great reviews. I enjoy it. I'm not enjoying the writing style, honestly, but now I just have to slough through it. It's a good book. It's just not like as phenomenal as people were saying. White Lightning 91 says, "Wendy's spicy nuggets are back." That's all. Did any of you guys read the 5 years down the road article from the Hockey News? Overly optimistic, about right. Surprised Bergeron wasn't mentioned.
Did not read that, no.
No, I didn't read it either.
Did not even know it was out, so news to me.
Loop did says, "What food opinion do other people have that you were offended by / deemed to be wrong, and we can't use any that we've already said before, like pineapple on pizza?"
Oh, so I can't go on my onion rant again?
No. Okay, what food take... what do people do with food that I can't stand?
So it has to be like common, just not like you've seen one person do it.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Some kind of food trend. What are some controversial food things?
One that I see all the time at cottages is people just let their eggs sit in the pan while they try to scramble them. That actually bothers the ever-living hell out of me.
Gordon Ramsay scrambled eggs, or you're wrong.
Other food... The whole hot dog as a sandwich thing is ridiculous as well.
Yeah, you're the one who asked Ron McLean that.
Hey, we had Ron McLean.
Yes, but Ron McLean settled it in my view. He settled it. He's like, it's neither. It's a hot dog. And I was like, I've never heard that answer, and I think that's 100% correct.
I've talked openly about I would have said egg on pizza, but I know I've said it before. Is that cheating because I only said it once? I really don't like egg on pizza. I don't know.
I've had a breakfast. Yeah, we've talked about this because I said I had a breakfast pizza. Is really
Okay,
good.
so this is going to be kind of a generic answer, but this always kind of bothers me. And it can apply to just about any food. But the people who take something like a hamburger and just smother it in infinity toppings and infinity sauces to the point where you can't even taste what the hell you're eating anymore. If I'm eating a hamburger, I want to taste the damn burger.
Yeah.
If you're putting ketchup on scrambled eggs, if you're putting anything that's altering the flavor of what you're eating, why the hell are you eating it?
Oh, poutine. use beef gravy.
Oh, I remember this. Remember we went to that one restaurant and they used chicken?
Yeah, they used chicken gravy. Yeah, that was
that was the
devastating.
saddest day of your life.
I was devastated. Use beef gravy on poutine. Cheese curds, obviously. People think that you can make poutine with shredded cheese. No, it has to be squeaky cheese curds and beef gravy. Don't be an idiot.
And also to clarify my point, I'm not anti-condiments and all that stuff. It just has to be a reasonable amount.
Practice safe condiments.
Yep, use protection.
All right. Twitter question. Topher Thinks asks, can you expand a little bit on what pro scouts do? Not as familiar with the inner workings behind the scenes and fascinated by it. Thanks. Clay actually had a great answer to this, so go read that. But in general, pro scouts evaluate players who are in the NHL.
Yep. All right, is this guy worth trading for? What's the value of our player versus that guy, et cetera, et cetera?
Should we sign him? Where would he fit in? How's he been?
Basically trade consultants.
Yes.
And free agent consultants.
Lars Thorzel says there's been a fair few brands. These are hashtag Ask WWP questions on Twitter. There have been a fair few brands for hockey gear. Which brand is the go-to retro brand for you? Jofa, Koho, or any other?
Retro? Can I say Easton now since they're not making anything?
My first thought was Easton.
Yeah.
Cooper?
Ooh, let's. Are they still around?
Oh, still around? Sorry.
No,
No.
Cooper's not around anymore.
I thought they still. made it
Dude, I literally, when I went to buy skates last year, it was just Bauer CCM, and there was one pair of True. Like
There might be
there's
some graph skates hanging around.
there is nothing but monopolies. Everything is Warrior, CCM, and Bauer now. So.
What stick brings a nostalgic tear to your eye?
The Silver Synergy.
Silver Synergy with the red bottom.
Red bottom.
Yeah, they're like just like a.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm talking about the OG.
Oh, like
OG
the original
Their
Synergy.
original grip one was gold.
The ones that snapped when you looked at them.
Yeah, I had one of those.
Oh my God, this is just a different demographic, man. I had a Gretzky silver aluminum Easton stick.
I had a
That and the Coho Revolution
I had
that
two
Mario
pieces
had
before
yeah.
too.
I
but-
still have an aluminum stick somewhere. No wonder they stopped making those things.
So it's either the Silver Synergy with the red bottom, or I love the orange and white Nike Apollo sticks.
I had one of those.
Yeah,
I had the Nike Apollo. I had the Coho Revolution. I had the Gretzky aluminum.
Yeah.
They all bring it back.
And my Nike Apollo had a square toe blade, so I loved
triggered.
it as a
We've
defenseman.
also talked about this.
Well, we talked about it on our interview, which hasn't been published, is on with the St. Louis guys. Yeah, so they wouldn't have heard that. All right, with that, we are going to wrap up this week's episode. Guys, we have a pre-recorded, it's going to be a very controversial episode for a Patreon exclusive to just double up and give you guys a little extra little bonus this
When
month.
are we dropping that?
It's going to be this Wednesday. Okay. We'll drop it this Wednesday. And it's going to spur a lot of conversation, and we're actually going to do some video content on this as well, because we have to double back and do our own. It's our jersey rankings, and we're going to have to do our own personal ones, because our conglomerate ones made for a good episode, but I think we have to do our own personal ones as well.
Like video?
We'll figure it out. So remember what I said. If you guys
That could be good content where we're each doing our own video, and then the other two people are just chirping the ever living hell out of whoever's doing theirs.
sitting in the back with beers while you're sitting there on the
Yes.
computer. Yeah, and we have we can see what you're doing up on a TV screen. Yeah.
Yes.
That's good.
Oh my
Guys,
God, we have to do that.
This YouTube content's going to be great. Go subscribe on YouTube, just youtube.com/wingedwheelpodcast, or like the lady at the end of the episode tells you, wingedwheelpodcast.com to find everything. I'd like to thank all of our supporters, our Patreon patrons, the people who make this happen: Sky Carcass, Luke Johnson, Arjun Shanker, Don Mitchell, Clayton Van Dyken, Mike Reed, Langabeer, Matthew M. Rice, Sean Levine, Kalen Wood, Charlie Elkins, John Evans, Rob Thiel, Stan Olson, Ryan Lewis, Mike DiLoretto, brand new name level patron. Thank you so much for your support. And Hannah Lee, thank you all so very much. We love you. We'll talk to you on Wednesday. Subscribe on YouTube.
Thanks for tuning in to the Winged Wheel Podcast. Be sure to check out wingedwheelpodcast.com, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. You'll also find links to other ways to support the show, such as Patreon, official podcast apparel, and more. And don't forget to follow the show on Twitter at Winged Wheel Pod. And of course, the hosts at Brad Crisco, at Ryan Hanna WWP, and at Hockey Town Evan.